Protesters are beginning to gather in Sydney following the death of George Floyd in the United States. Crime reporter Mark Reddie is there. Mark, what's happening there right now?
Well, Gemma, right now hundreds of people are marching down Macquarie Street here in Sydney's central business district. Earlier they gathered in Hyde Park. There was close to probably 300 people there with placards, many of them wearing Aboriginal flags. Now these protests are in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter protests that continue to take place across the United States in response to the death of George Floyd, who was killed by a white police officer. But there is also a stronger message here today. The protesters here are calling for better treatment of Indigenous Australians, and they're making reference to the rising number of deaths in custody among Indigenous Australians. So since the 1991 Royal Commission in particular, there have been more than 400 deaths in custody, and this is what this protest movement is about. It's about the deaths in custody among Indigenous Australians, but also what's happening in the United States. Now, it does look relatively quiet behind me. These protesters are being followed by police on horseback, but you can see in front of me here there's literally hundreds of them now reaching the steps of State Parliament. Now, this has largely been a peaceful protest. There haven't been any scuffles, and we know that this was organised by the Australian Communist Party. Let's take a listen to what one of the organisers had to say.
It's just gut-wrenching, the climate of what's happening in America. And it's also happening here in Australia, though it's subtle. The racism is real for me.
I'm here today to support the Indigenous community and the African American community, and more importantly, the world community, because racism is at the fore. Black men, women are being killed at an alarming rate in both countries, and there needs to be attention to it to stop it.
We can probably hear, Gemma, they're chanting right now, Black Lives Matter, and that is in solidarity with what's happening in the United States. This has been peaceful, it's been orderly, it is under police escort. What these protesters will do once this wraps up is they'll head down to the US consulate, which is just around the corner, and they will all get down on one knee, similar scenes what's happened in the United States, to show their respect for George Floyd, who they say was killed by a police officer. And that's where the protest will end.